What's going on, y'all? Thank you for stopping back by the channel with your boy Young Father All Father. I'm gonna try to keep today's video very short and very sweet as I give my predictions as to what's gonna take place at UFC 287. I'm also not gonna, try to lie and give you up fake, traits and characteristics and styles of fighters that I've never seen before. I'm just not gonna talk about those bouts. I'm gonna keep it to the fighters that I know. Joe Pfeiffer versus Gerald Meerschaert. Gerald Meerschaert, it breaks my heart for him to see him at the very beginning of the early prelim, like the most free prelim. He was never, you couldn't even really call him a gatekeeper. He wasn't a contender. He did not people back down the hill constantly. He was just kind of, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of gratification to be found, when you reach the professional level at any sport or anything, where because you can say that you're the best in the world. You never have to be a champion to say you're the best in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a professional athlete in any league in the world, like, you're less than a 1%er, bro. Like, a lot of people don't get to do that shit. It's so many people's dreams to go do what they love as their job, and he gave it a good run, but I'm assuming he'll be losing his contract fairly soon. At the top of the prelim that's not free, we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. I'm not very familiar with Chris Curtis, but I do know that his last fight was a victory over Joaquin Buckley, because I'm a big fan of Joaquin Buckley. I think Kelvin Gastelum lost his last fight via a very, very convincing decision that was a victory for Jared Cannonier. And he's a beast, bro. Jared Cannonier is different, so you can't really beat Kelvin up or kick him while he's down. I was a big fan of Kelvin back in the day because I really liked the 5'10", 185 middleweight. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting a 6'2" guy and cutting him down to, as skinny as he can be alive, so that he can use reach to fucking dominate a division that's just a little bit too light for him. I've never been a big fan of that personally. That's just me though. So I was a big fan of Kelvin, especially when he gave Izzy the hardest run for his money his whole time in the UFC. Even though it was earlier on, I was still a big fan of that. We got Li Jingliang versus Michael Chiesa. Both of these dudes are coming off losses. I believe Michael Chiesa was beat significantly more convincingly, and I know he might come out the gate with a different level of intensity than Leach could expect. I saw Leach get handled. We all saw Leach get handled by Hamzat. So we know, we know wrestling's not going to be his strong suit. That's not going to be the way that he chooses to try to get a victory here. So just depending on how the stand-up goes. I know that Michael Chiesa did a lot to build up and train Terrence McKinney, who recently had his first loss, but is still a fucking fantastic prospect at featherweight. I would have to give that one to Michael Chiesa just off the strength of the fact that he's a veteran like that. I know Leach is coming up. This is about to be like his 5th fight in the UFC, but I don't know. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. I like Raul Rosas Jr., bro. I don't even think he has teeth. He's 18 years old. He's 18 years old. I'm giving it to Raul Rosas Jr. I'm not even talking about Christian Rodriguez. I don't give a fuck. I want the kid to do it. That would be so sweet. We have Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland coming off the stoppage at the hands of Wonderboy, but how the fuck are you really gonna stop Wonderboy? He shouldn't be that angry. He shouldn't be that angry at himself. Honestly, Wonderboy is a true gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wonderboy constantly spinning back kicks people in their head back down the mountain. He's a true gatekeeper. He can say, he can tell you who he stopped, who he can tell you who was on the way to glory that he literally stopped. I fuck with Wonderboy. I've been a huge Wonderboy fan for years. I'm not even talking about Wonderboy though. Kevin Holland, and then he do a lot of talking and shit. I don't know. Santiago Ponzinibbio is coming off of a knockout. That could go either way. Adrian Yanez versus Rob Font. This is a serious fight at bantamweight. To have Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez, and I've been a big fan of Adrian Yanez. I watched several of his fights in the prelims over like the past year, because I was going to Hooters or going to Waterside or whatever just to catch the fights, because I'm not paying for pay-per-views. I'll go somewhere and eat and watch it. But Rob Font, coming off of a loss, is gonna be hungry. Also, I believe he was spinning back, kicked in the chest, back down the hill by Cheeto in a super convincing fashion, and he was on the way up. I don't know if he had just beat Calvin Kattar before he went into the fight with Cheeto. I forget what happened, but Rob Font is definitely decent and he's a problem. But Adrian Yanez has some of the sharpest boxing that you will ever come across. Like, he is smooth as a bitch. I've been a huge fan of Adrian Yanez since, I want to say, like February of last year. He came up quick. This is another dude who I guess had a 5 or 6 year mixed martial arts career before he ended up in the big show. He's 29 now. I'll probably have to go for my coin. I'd have to go Adrian Yanez, just because I like Adrian Yanez a lot. But like I said, that's just for my coin. You feel me? That's just for my coin. That's just for my chips. But we're getting up to the co-main and main events. The co-main, Gilbert Burns versus George Masvidal. I think Gilbert Burns is gonna fold this nigga, and I don't even think it's gonna be close. I think Gilbert Burns is super underrated. I also feel like Jorge Masvidal's best years are behind him. There's only a 2-year age difference between these two fighters. Jorge Masvidal is 38 years old. I don't know how often we really stop and think about that shit, but Jorge Masvidal is 38 years old, and Gilbert Burns is 36. But we just had a 42-year-old light heavyweight champion like fucking 5 months ago, so it's not like these are dead. But they're not the same people that they used to be. But I know Gilbert still got that dog different. Gilbert's performances against everybody. Gilbert versus Kamaru, he almost finished Kamaru. Like, everything could have went different. I don't think that Gilbert Burns gets nearly enough respect for the fighter he is. And I would be very, very surprised to see George Masvidal defeat Gilbert Burns. He's not going to stop him. I can basically guarantee you he's not going to stop him. And if he's going to win on the scorecards, that just comes down to the night. And you know what I'm saying, whether he's sharper than George on the night, if he can stick to the game plan more effectively. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like my mic is hella loud. It just depends, bro. It just depends. But I definitely, for my money, like, I would put some money on Gilbert coming off of a submission win over Neil Magny, who's a fantastic welterweight prospect as well. His time could come. He's probably like 31, 32 right now. So it's like Neil Magny will probably hit 35, 36 and be fighting like these dudes, making his last little run up the hill kind of thing. Curious to see how that goes. He's a tall, lanky one, bro. Their knees don't do too hot into old age. In the main fucking event, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. This is a hard one. I was a big Izzy fan for years. I still am a big Izzy fan. I like the guy a lot. I think he's funny. I enjoy and respect that, he tries his best to be unapologetically him, but it comes to a point where we're not really talking about personality traits anymore. We're talking about, physical traits. Like Alex Pereira has walked this man down 2 times. He's beat him 3 times. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's statistically inapt to claim that something's gonna happen. Izzy's gonna toast him. Like, if you don't feel like, if Izzy isn't like gonna choke him out or something, or if Izzy isn't running 19 miles a day to where he's just built up some type of gas tank that's gonna, that's gonna outride Alex, I don't understand how Israel Adesanya beats him. I struggle to see it. I struggle to picture it as much as I would like it. I just don't know how. I don't know how Israel Adesanya gets the best of this man. Just too much history there. Too many times it's happened. He's probably psyched out. And that's why, you know, as an athlete, you have to choose the way that you build yourself up to approach these things. So if you want to be a humble man, always talking about how you're just here and you're just happy to be learning and owning your craft and doing new shit. Like if you're a GSP type character, but you're still coming through and dogging everybody, there's no flies on you. I fucked my mustache up on one side, cut it down too low. So I tried to like fucking match it up on the other side. Still growing back down. I don't give a fuck. But Israel Adesanya, you know what I'm saying, on that him shit, I already went around the world. I already learned everything, you know what I'm saying? I came here last. There's a lot of flies on you when you start getting your ass whooped. So you kind of have to pick and choose, you know what I'm saying, what light you want to paint yourself in type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a fighter's a public figure, dude. So you have to pick what light you want to paint yourself in. Izzy hasn't painted himself in the most beautiful light to where it covers his ass when he loses. He does handle defeat, you know what I'm saying, with a lot of honor, a lot of class, which I'm sure, you know, everybody can find a way to respect that. But even still, those are just my opinions. Hurts to see Gerald at the fucking top of the early prelim when he fought so hard. It sucks to see Kelvin Gastelum on the top of the regular prelim. But for the final 3 fights of the card, I'm going to have to take Adrian Yanez over Rob Font, most likely by decision. They're both amazing boxers, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody got stopped. I'm going to have to take Gilbert Burns over Jorge Masvidal. I feel like he's a more well-rounded fighter with a little more dog in him and 2 years of youth, more density. Like, he'll throw Jorge on the ground real bad, bro. Like, BJJ black belt world champion kind of thing. I'm definitely taking Gilbert Burns over Jorge Masvidal. And then for the 4th and most likely fucking final time, I'm going to have to take Alex over Israel Adesanya. And this is coming from somebody that's really a fan of Israel Adesanya. But you know what I'm saying? Tap it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Wagwan Rasta. Chuck. I'll talk to y'all niggas soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. Thank you for stopping by the channel. Peace.